Alright, so there's been lots of paper talk about Pep Guardiola joining the Premier League next season, with Man City and Chelsea seem to be fighting over him. Can we see him go to either club? Or?
It's clear he's going to go to England. I just think, I like Guardiola, I do. I've always preferred Barcelona to Real Madrid if my little earlier diatribe isn't obvious on that one.
Yeah.
But I think whoever gets him is getting a bad deal. Because I just think he's a manager who's come from a very, very particular background. And he plays a very, very particular kind of football. And neither of those backgrounds or that kind of football actually seems to match very well with the Premier League. He's gone to Barcelona, he's gone to Bayern Munich, and those are both clubs where you have a team that completely dominates.
Yeah.
Where you can win every single game, barring one or two where you're going to struggle a little bit. You know, the likes of Real Madrid, the likes of Dortmund. You've got a couple of games you might not win, but every single one, it's in the realms of possibility they might not get the 3 points. But the odds, come on, it's just not likely. The Premier League is a league where any side can beat any other side. It's a league where teams like Swansea and Palace are going to go to Old Trafford and say, we can beat you.
Yeah.
That's what league it is. And when you come from a background where you've only dominated, I think to go to a league that is truly competitive from top to bottom, it's a very, very difficult prospect. Louis van Gaal had it. He came here. I think he anticipated an easier league, and he did well against the big teams, especially in his first year, but he struggled against everyone else. And I think it just sort of showed that when you're a manager who's done that before, who's managed for big clubs but not really the smaller clubs, it's so much more difficult. And I think as well, with the style of football he plays, a lot of managers have tried to emulate that in England. And
Guardiola?
Yeah, I don't think a single manager has got that right. And I don't think it's because they haven't understood it. I think it's just because in the Premier League, it's a matter of domination. You can't dominate possession that much.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. And I think for him to come to the Premier League, he maybe has to do well with one of these clubs in Europe.
Yeah.
But in terms of being successful in the Premier League, I think he will genuinely struggle. I think it's a massive name, obviously. And I think he has a huge ego. I think he wants to win everything in every country, and that's why he's gone to the big clubs rather than trying to start a bit smaller. Instead of going to Bayern, he could have gone to the likes of Hamburg or something like that and tried to build them back up. But he went to Bayern because I think he wants to win all the trophies. I think he wants that at the end of his career. But I just don't think it works out in the Premier League. No one's dominated since Sir Alex Ferguson, and even in the last few years, he couldn't get a dominant period going. That's what the Premier League is. It's too competitive from top to bottom. Any side genuinely can beat any other side. You look at the betting odds in the Premier League, you're rarely going to get anything better than, say, and I'm talking in decimals, 1.4, 1.3.
Yeah.
That's the best you're really going to get. Because even when you've got like the top team versus the bottom team, it's not a guarantee. These sides are just, they've got too many good players, and you can't do what
Bayern do. This season, I think everyone's going to beat Villa.
Oh yeah, apart from maybe Villa. But you can't do what Bayern do and Real Madrid do, which is just suck up every single little bit of talent that comes up in those leagues. Like you look at Illaramendi at Real Madrid, he had one good season at Sociedad, they signed him up and then had no intention of using him. And you look at Bayern, they had Mitchell Weiser, I think he was one. They signed him, he didn't do anything. Sebastian Roda, I think he's played a few games, but again it was a matter of we don't want someone else having this guy. There's players like I think Joshua Kimmich is another one. They can do that and they can do that, but there's too many of those players in the Premier League. Those players who are good enough to go to the next level, but maybe not good enough to be a regular at that kind of level. And those are the players that can cause problems. I think he's a great manager, no question about that. Nobody else can do what he's done that effectively. But for the Premier League, it's such a different kettle of fish. And I think whoever gets him is getting a bit of a raw deal because for 1 or 2 seasons, I think it's going to be very questionable whether or not he's going to be successful. And when has Guardiola really stuck it out at a club long term? If he doesn't get success in those first few seasons, I genuinely think he'll look for an easier job. I think he'll look at something like Juventus and go, I haven't done Italy before. Yeah. I can win that there. So I think a manager he's not like Ancelotti in terms of he brings success with him. Guardiola goes somewhere that's already successful and expands.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that's a hard job to go somewhere that's already successful and make it even more successful. But it's not like he brings the success with him. He has to work with something that's already set up. I mean, you had Louis van Gaal and Frank Rijkaard set up Barcelona very effectively. And he expanded on that and made it so much better. He went to Bayern where, what's the name? The guy begins with H, I can't remember his name, the manager who won, I think it was the quadruple or the treble, where he won the Champions League. He took that team and he made it better.
Yeah.
But I don't see a Premier League club where you can do that same kind of thing, where you've already got a club that's in a perfect position, has the potential to dominate the league, or already is, and then take them to the next level. I don't think you can do that because, and the other thing, like I said before, they can dominate transfers in the Premier League you can't dominate transfers. There's 5 or 6 clubs that can go for the very best players in the world in the Premier League. They can all afford them, and every other club can go and spend £70 million in a transfer window and not blink. Clubs like Southampton can do that. Clubs like Bournemouth, look at them, they can go and spend money. You can't dominate the transfer windows, you can't dominate possession on the pitch, you can't dominate the way of playing, you can't dominate the league. And so I think he's a manager who's all about domination. So once you dominate the whole thing, he perpetuates that. And he's very, very good at that. And that is a hard skill, but it's one that I don't think applies to the Premier League. So I think whoever gets him, be it Arsenal, be it Chelsea, be it City, be it United, whoever gets him is not getting as good a deal as they think they are. And as much as I can see him being successful in the Premier League, it would not surprise me at all if he comes to the Premier League, has 2 or 3 years here and doesn't win anything worthwhile. At a big club, that is, so that's a league title or a Champions League. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Could you really see him going to Chelsea if they haven't got Champions League next season?
No, honestly. Again, he's a manager who, I think he's got a massive, massive ego. And that's not a bad thing for a manager. For someone involved with other massive egos, that's not a bad thing at all. He wants to go somewhere where he's going to win everything. I think when he gets to the end of his career, he wants to say, Germany did that, Spain did that, England did that, Italy did that. I think he wants to go around and say, I did it all.
Yeah.
And for a club like Chelsea, I think you'll go, potentially I won't be able to do that. And if I mess up once in England, that can be your chance gone. Because all of a sudden, you're seen as tainted goods. And, there will be a lot of people who think the same sort of thing as I'm espousing here. Maybe he just isn't cut out for this country. Maybe this is the one country he can't adapt to. And so I think he'll be more likely to go for a safer bet, which I think would be either Man United, City or Arsenal if Wenger decides to retire. So if Wenger wins the title at the end of the season and says, that's it, I'm going out on a high, Arsenal would be a feasible one. One of those 3 clubs I think is realistically going to get him. And I do think he will leave for England. It will be England at the end of the year.
Anything to add, Nick?
No.
I think I do agree with Shane. I mean, one thing to sort of agree with Shane on is whenever Guardiola's gone to a club, it's sort of been ready for him to go there. Really, it's sort of all set up on a plate. He hasn't really had to do much. He hasn't really had to do like a Jurgen Klopp type thing, like he did at Dortmund, and change everything around from top to bottom. He's sort of gone in there and sort of smiled and may have tweaked a few things, brought 1 or 2 players in, but it's been a club that's ready to win titles, ready to win Champions Leagues. And I just feel maybe at City, if he goes to City,